Good morning. Well, I guess who knows when you're joining us? It might not be morning, but it's morning here in Virginia, where both Maria and I are from, which I love. We're fellow Virginiaites. So welcome, Maria. So happy to have you. Maria is from Magic of Joy and Sensitive Evolution. And so let's get started with telling us a little bit about who you serve, what you do, what joy you bring to the world.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. It's a total pleasure and honor for me to be here with you today because I've loved working with you.
Well, thank you. Feelings mutual.
So I work with people who are predominantly heart-based. I created Sensitive Evolution about 12 years ago, so it's a huge platform for people who are sensitive. And I wrote the book, The Emerging Sensitive, and created an Emerging Sensitive program. And along the way, I noticed that people tend to have difficulty distinguishing between what is the cultural baggage and what is their problem. And so I have evolved the magic of joy to help people understand this is the cultural stuff, this is the baggage you've inherited, and this is what is yours to deal with. So an example being people think that they're pleasers. And they identify as a pleaser, as a personality, because we don't distinguish between the cultural stuff and the personal. We personalize a lot of it. But in human history, if you weren't pleasing, often you were dead. So you've inherited that baggage. And so people tend to think badly of themselves. They put themselves down and they lose really control over their own life in their own personal sovereignty because they can't make that distinction. So once you do, you claim your own personal sovereignty much more easily, and it's much healthier. And then you can move out of a fear-based way of living into one that's joy creating. So I help people find on that path, and that's what the Magic of Joy is about, and the Magic of Joy program that I'll be offering next year.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. So how did you come to know Searchie?
I went into the TME program because I do have a community on Mighty Networks. And I had started that with the Emerging Sensitive program, and I've already been working on the Magic of Joy program for a while, but I knew I wanted to build it. And it seemed like TME was the best program, the most knowledgeable. And I could use their expertise. And it's been wonderful. And Searchie was part of the TME program, and I got started with it. And frankly, I got lost.
Right.
But I love that you could create chapters. One of the big problems I have is that I have huge amounts of material for people, and it can get lost. And that's been one of my difficulties with Mighty Networks. So I wanted a way for people, because they stay with me year in and year out, and they go back over things because you don't just learn something hearing something once. And so I wanted a way for people to be able to search the videos. I do a lot of calls, and they tend to be quite long and in depth. And so I want them to be able to search the material and go back if they want to, without having to go through a whole 1.5 hour, 2 hour video.
Right. That's wonderful. Really help people hone in on exactly what they need at that very moment in time, and help them then be able to put that into practice and get some action.
Yeah, it's also, I think, a great way to present material. It keeps it concise. The way the programs in TME are put out there as journeys and all, you get to put the material out there in a very concise way. I think it's very accessible to people, and Searchie just even makes it more accessible.
Right. So without further ado, let's take a tour of your hub, and let's take a look at what you got going on. I love the way that this hub came out. I think it's really got a great feel to it. And
do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, please share your screen.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm excited about it also. In fact, I showed it on my call on Sunday. And they loved it too.
That's
So,
great. That's great. It's
so this
always
is
great
going
to
to
have
be,
that feedback from your people that
oh,
they,
absolutely. You need to have it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is going to be modeled. I basically modeled it on the way TME is set up, and I'm going to have at the top. This is of course the first page, but the beginning of every section, every playlist is going to have a quote, because they seem to do a beautiful job, or a poem. They capture the essence of what's being communicated. And I think that's really important. And I do believe in trying to not just focus on the things that aren't working, but also to support someone's imagination. And I think poetry and quotes are a wonderful way for people to imagine something different. So that's the top of it. And then I have these 4 cards here, the begin here for onboarding. Someone can book a coaching call if they would like to, access the community, and then of course reach me for some support.
Yep.
So, and then that's followed by, this will be a video. That's just a placeholder, but it'll be describing the entire success path to go from where people are now, and explain to them why each section matters, so that they're able to understand the nature of the path and what they'll gain from it. And then there are 7 sections, and basically though, it's going to be the cultural piece, the energy and personal sovereignty piece, and then the joy, moving into joy. So it's basically 3 big parts, but I've broken them down. So the challenge of our times, we are going through huge, huge challenges culturally and otherwise. The second one will be about the energy exercises. I have a lot of energy exercises to help people really bring their energy into their bodies, so that they're more fully in control of their themselves and their energy. And that's going to be followed by going in depth on culture, the kinds of demands we put on people through culture, where they're harmful and where they're not harmful, how you make distinctions. I go into great depth about the authoritarian personality and what it means to claim a healthier kind of sovereignty than the one that's often offered to us. So we do have some dysfunction in the human race that we need to clean up. And then the next is, how do we then go from that to beginning to say, okay, this is what I need to be doing with my energy. This is sort of a personal journey to creating your own personal sovereignty. And once you've done that, then you can start to think, okay, what do I need to change in my life? What would I like my life to be like? How can I inspire others? What inspires me? And then we start to look at what that might mean in terms of, what does your life look like if you're living from a place of joy? What does it actually look like on a day-to-day basis, moment-to-moment basis? What kinds of choices are you making? And then then we finish up by actually going ahead and putting in the building blocks to living from a place of joy. And at the bottom, of course, we have what every Searchie user needs. Oh, there's a little bit about me. I forgot about
Right.
And then there's a search bar, so that they can, the readers can access everything.
Excellent. And I just love the simplicity of it. I mean, I like clean, simple hubs. I feel it brings me joy.
That's great.
But I love the simplicity of it, because I think it just, here's what you exactly what you need, and you can move through it and access it in a way that works for you, the user. But it's just very easy to find what you need.
Yeah, I think there's a value in being very direct, because people do feel respected when you're very direct and saying, here, this is what you need. And I think that's an additional value you can get by using the Searchie hubs.
So what advice would you have for somebody just getting started in Searchie?
I think, first of all, there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And I do think, unless you have a lot of technical skills, and even though I've been working online for a decade, I found myself getting lost
Mhm.
So I do think that they would benefit from hiring you, to be honest.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you.
And I'm not
I
someone who generally, I'm a do-it-yourselfer. So I
yeah,
generally don't ask for help. And so having you help me was one of the best things I've done, because it's so easy to get lost. There's so much to it. There's so many different ways of using it.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and
And
I know one of the things that when I first met with you, you said, I really like doing this stuff myself. And I said, that's okay. We can do it together. So then you can learn and you can understand how it works. So then you can take it from here. But you don't have to have me.
Right.
You can grasp this. There's a couple of key concepts that we can teach you so that you can feel empowered to do it yourself. And
that's been fantastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. So what do you have going on with your business that you would like our audience to know about? What kinds of things do you have coming up?
Well, I'm currently working on putting together the second version of the Magic of Joy course.
Uh-huh.
And that will be offered the beginning of next year.
Okay.
And so I'm in the process of putting that together, and I will be sending out announcements later this year about that.
Mhm.
So that's very exciting. And so if someone wants to connect with me, they can connect with me either on the Magic of Joy website or on Sensitive Evolution if they happen to be sensitive or an empath.
Mhm.
But I welcome all heart-based, heart-focused people to my websites, and
Mhm.
they're welcome to connect with me there.
Great. Great.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you have anything on those sites that people can kind of learn more about you and what your offerings are?
Yes.
I mean,
Well,
like, do you have what do you have? I guess here's my question. What do you have that would help somebody figure out if they should be sort of following the sensitive evolution versus the magic of joy path? Does that make sense?
yeah. Actually, Sensitive Evolution is a fully built out platform for people who are sensitive. And I'm basically just taking the program I developed there, the Magic of
Mhm.
Joy program, and
Mhm.
expanding it out to other heart-based people.
Oh,
So
I
they might
see.
be intuitive or creatives, people in the healing professions. There are a
Mhm.
lot of different kinds of people who may not personally identify specifically as being highly sensitive. They may or may
Mhm.
not be.
Mhm.
So if someone knows they're highly sensitive, Sensitive Evolution has a ton of material for them.
Mhm.
For people who are looking to deal with the challenges of the world around us and the changes that we're going through, who are heart-based, the Magic of Joy program will be perfect for them, but it will
Mhm.
be perfect for them whether they're sensitive or not.
Okay.
So you can find out a lot about me through Sensitive Evolution. I have my bio there, and I have a huge blog with
Mhm.
tons of articles. So I'm very easy to know.
Great. Great.
Yeah. And the Magic of Joy is a younger website. I'm just
Mhm.
beginning to develop it because
Mhm.
I want to combine Magic of Sensitive Evolution under the Magic of Joy banner and
I
bring them
see.
together.
I
Yeah.
see. I see. I see.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to include that link so that people can go and check you out and see, more about the two things that you offer and figure out if it's maybe a good fit for them.
Okay.
So, well, thank you so much for spending the time with us this morning to show us around your hub. Everybody's always inspired when they see other people's hubs. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do that with us this morning. And any final words or anything else you want to say to anyone before we head out?
Well, I want to thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, well, thank you.
It made a huge difference to me. The templating and all of that let me work through what the experience needed to be like. And I
Mhm.
think without that, I probably wouldn't have been able to put it together.
Mhm.
And so that made a huge difference to me. So
Wonderful, wonderful,
it
wonderful.
was a
Well, thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for having
All
me.
right, everybody. So just get going and whatever I always say this to everybody, just take some steps, whatever that might be for you, whether it's hiring somebody to help you or delving in on your own. Just, get started so you can get some forward momentum. And then we're all here to support you and help you through on this journey. But thank you so much, Maria. And
Thank
we'll
you.
talk to everybody soon.
All right.